I finished a reread of Sunrise on the Reaping a couple days ago, and I had a huge aha moment that completely confirmed my bias that this is the last book in the series. I've talked about a bunch of other reasons I have for that before in a previous video, which I'll tag, but let me just tell you what I realized. So for the purposes of this video, these two books are standalones, and the original trilogy I consider to be its own entity. It's like one extra long book. OG trilogy ends with Plutarch talking to Katniss about the nature of humanity when it comes to war and violence. He says, "Now we're in that sweet period where everyone agrees that our recent horrors should never be repeated, but collective thinking is usually short-lived. We're fickle, stupid beings with poor memories and a great gift for self-destruction. Although who knows? Maybe this will be it. The time it sticks. Maybe we are witnessing the evolution of the human race." OG Trilogy asks, are we born for war or are we naturally peaceable creatures? Enter The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which tries to answer the question about human nature. Coriosa Janus and Lucy Gray show us three different ways that we can interpret the nature of humanity. At the end of this book, we have an interaction between Gaul and Snow about the erasure of the 10th Hunger Games. Gaul says, "It's a blessing this year, given that I've had to erase the whole mess. It was a mistake getting the students mixed up in it, especially when they started dropping like flies. Presented the capital as far too vulnerable. Every last copy never to be aired again. I've a master in the vault, of course, but that's just for my own amusement." Ballad begs the question, what is the capital's use and extent of propaganda and erasure? Enter Sunrise on the Reaping. Sunrise shows us just how far the capital is willing to go to ensure that it will never be presented as too vulnerable, to ensure that it is presented as stronger than the districts, as the victim of the dark days, and presenting Snow as the #1 peacekeeper. And at the end of this book, again, we have an interaction with Plutarch, but it's with Haymitch instead. Plutarch says, "You shook up the capital both figuratively and literally with that earthquake. You were capable of imagining a different future, and maybe it won't be realized today, maybe not in our lifetime, maybe it will take generations. We're all part of a continuum. Does that make it pointless?" Sunrise begs the question, is a revolution pointless if it takes generations and doesn't happen overnight? Is it pointless if all of our effort goes into it and we don't reap the rewards and we don't see what comes out of it? Enter OG Trilogy. These three books confirm that just because a revolution is a long game does not make it pointless. Revolution is like a science experiment. You need the precise people and moments and circumstances for it to come to fruition. You cannot expect it to happen overnight, but just because it takes a very long time, usually generations, does not mean that it is not worth it to put your all into revolting. Sunrise completes this full circle moment.